The Teachings of Early Aging, a story from Buddhist wisdom. Old age brings inevitable physical changes. Hair turns gray prematurely, the body weakens, teeth become fragile, cheeks sag, one tires easily, the glow of youth fades from the face, and the digestive system deteriorates. Vision blurs. And these are just a few of the many signs of aging. However, what is striking in today's world is that these symptoms no longer wait until the later stages of life. Many young people now show early signs of aging, causing concern among the masses. So, how can one prevent this premature aging? To find some answers, let's delve into a story rooted in Buddhist teachings. Once, Mahatma Buddha visited the royal court of a powerful emperor. Upon his arrival, Buddha posed a question to the king. "Raja, how are the people in your village faring?" The Raja, eager to share the positive influence of Buddha's teachings, responded, "O Lord, thanks to the wisdom you have imparted, our people even at 60 years of age look as though they are 20. It seems that the aging process has stopped altogether. Everyone in our village is healthy, peaceful, and no one requires medicine. They live entirely well and are genuinely happy." Through this story, Buddha not only highlights the impact of living a mindful life, but also introduces us to the importance of a healthy routine and lifestyle choices that can help mitigate early aging. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. This story is more than just an ancient tale. It offers valuable lessons about living a long, healthy life, which Buddha himself practiced after renouncing his throne. Despite once being an emperor, Buddha chose the life of a monk, which gave him great insight into how lifestyle choices affect both mind and body. Friends, today we will uncover 12 essential rules shared by Mahatma Buddha that form the foundation of a complete, balanced life. These 12 principles are the key to maintaining health, delaying aging, and ensuring peace of mind. It is highly encouraged to listen closely and adopt these teachings in your own life, as they can bring remarkable improvements in well-being and longevity. By following these principles, not only can you prevent illness, but you may also significantly slow the aging process. To make these ideas resonate, the teachings will be illustrated through a story, allowing each point to settle in your mind. Let's begin with the tale of a kind and just ruler named King Badar Singh, who governed a prosperous kingdom. King Badar Singh had two beautiful queens, and the lives of his people were filled with wisdom, health, and happiness, thanks to the virtuous practices they followed. The cruel king's justice and the plight of early aging. Although the king was renowned for his fairness and justice, he was also known for his cruelty. Despite the outward beauty and kindness of his two queens, they shared the king's intense religious devotion and rigid discipline. The king was so committed to justice that he ensured his subjects never suffered unfairly. To maintain order, he formed a council of 9 ministers, each assigned to a specific department responsible for various tasks, including ensuring the people's food supply. The king's instructions were so strict that any minister found neglecting their duties would face the death penalty. Because of this severe consequence, the ministers worked diligently and honestly, fearing the king's wrath. Whenever the king was called to deliver justice, he did so impartially, carefully listening to both sides of the dispute before making a fair and balanced decision. The people of the kingdom were happy and lived in peace, knowing that their king ruled with fairness, though his cruelty lingered as a reminder of his unwavering control. Every week the king toured his kingdom, ensuring all households had sufficient grain and food supplies, leaving no room for dissatisfaction among his subjects. These arrangements ensured a prosperous life for everyone, and the people often praised the king for his sense of justice, even as they feared his ruthless punishments. One day, during one of the king's public gatherings, a farmer and his wife approached him with a serious concern. Bowing before the king, they said, "Maharaj, we are facing a grave problem and we humbly ask you to solve it for us." The king, known for his fairness in addressing issues, responded, "Speak and tell me what troubles you." The farmer explained, "We have 2 sons who are still quite young, no more than 26 or 28 years old, yet they appear to be much older. They look as though they are 60 years old. Their hair is falling out, their stomachs have become bloated, and they have grown lazy, unable to work. We have tried many medicines, but nothing has helped. Very well. I will see to it that your sons receive proper treatment. He then ordered his ministers to ensure that the farmer's sons were treated by the royal physician, with all expenses covered by the state treasury. The ministers, bound by their duty and the king's strict orders, quickly acted upon the king's command, arranging for the royal physician to attend to the farmer's sons. Thus, the king not only addressed the issue of early aging within his kingdom, but also reinforced his commitment to the welfare of his people, ensuring that even those who struggled with physical ailments were cared for under his reign. The king's quest to solve the mystery of premature aging. Despite the royal physician's treatment and support from the state treasury, the farmer returned to the king's gathering after a long period of care, only to report that his sons showed no improvement. "Maharaj," the farmer lamented, "there has been no relief. My sons remain unchanged." The king, maintaining his calm, replied, "Very well. We will consider what must be done." While pondering this troubling situation, another couple approached the king, tearfully describing the same issue. Gradually, the problem escalated, and one by one, more than half of the villagers came forward, expressing their concerns about the premature aging of their children. This influx of complaints left the king bewildered, as he had never encountered such a widespread issue before. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the king immediately convened an emergency meeting. He declared that it was essential to uncover the root cause of this alarming phenomenon. To this end, he ordered a thorough investigation, mandating that his ministers and officials go door to door to determine why the youth of his kingdom were aging prematurely and becoming exhausted. The king summoned all the famous healers in the land, calling for an emergency council to discuss the matter at hand. Addressing the healers, the king set a deadline of 10 days for them to investigate the situation thoroughly. He instructed them to identify the disease or underlying issue causing this condition, emphasizing the urgency of the task. To incentivize the healers, the king promised that whoever discovered the exact diagnosis of this mysterious ailment would be rewarded with a kingdom. Motivated by the king's generous offer, the nobles, physicians, and healers worked tirelessly, going from house to house to investigate the people's health and lifestyles. For 10 days and nights, they diligently gathered information and searched for answers. After the 10 days passed, a state assembly was held in which all the royal physicians and healers gathered to present their findings. The king, eager for a solution, questioned each healer in turn. However, despite their collective efforts, none of them could offer a concrete diagnosis or remedy. The situation seemed dire until an elderly healer, between 125 and 130 years old, stood up and addressed the king. "Maharaj," he began, "based on our findings, I believe there is a problem with the lifestyle and diet of the people. This is likely the reason behind their premature aging. However, we have yet to find a clear and definitive solution." The king, deeply perplexed by this statement, particularly coming from an elder who himself was over a century old, asked, "What then shall we do to solve this problem?" The room fell silent, as the mystery of early aging continued to baffle everyone, and the kingdom awaited the next steps. The king's desperate search for a solution, a call for Mahatma Buddha. The king, overwhelmed with anxiety and concern, addressed the healer. "You must provide us with a solution. We have been living with this distress for over a month. Our people are worried, and seeing their suffering has made us restless as well. Even my own hair has begun to fall out. In my family, from the queens to the princes, princesses, and others, everyone is facing the same issue. This has caused great concern throughout the kingdom. Please tell me the solution to this crisis." The royal healer, standing with folded hands, humbly replied, "Maharaj, please forgive us. Unfortunately, we do not have the solution to this affliction. However, there is one person who possesses the wisdom to solve these problems. If we summon this great healer, all the issues in your kingdom will be resolved, and these illnesses will disappear forever. No one else can provide a remedy except for this person." Intrigued and desperate for answers, the king quickly said, "Healer, do not delay in such an urgent matter. Tell me, who is this wise individual? We will invite him to our kingdom immediately." The healer bowed and responded, "Forgive me, Maharaj, but we do not know his exact whereabouts. He is a wandering sage, likely preaching in some distant state. If we send our soldiers and spies throughout the land, only he has the solution to this problem. No one else does." Upon hearing this, the king's resolve strengthened. He ordered his most trusted and capable minister, "Go at once. Find Mahatma Buddha as quickly as possible and bring him to our kingdom with the utmost respect and honor. This is our strict order. Take all the necessary spies and soldiers and track down which state Mahatma Buddha is in, where he is preaching, and when. Deliver our message, telling him the emperor requests his presence urgently. If he does not come, inform me, and I shall go to meet him personally and share my concerns with him." Without delay, the ministers dispersed across the kingdom and neighboring regions, sending soldiers and spies in all directions. After much effort, they finally discovered Mahatma Buddha's location. He was residing in a nearby state, delivering sermons to a large congregation of followers. The ministers, filled with hope, prepared to approach the great sage, knowing that Buddha held the key to resolving the kingdom's mysterious illness and restoring peace to their people. Mahatma Buddha's journey to heal the kingdom. Mahatma Buddha was in a distant land, delivering a sermon to a large crowd, when the king's ministers finally reached him after their long and arduous search. Bowing deeply before the enlightened sage, they humbly said, "Lord Buddha, our king has summoned you. A great illness has fallen upon our kingdom, and the people are suffering terribly. Our king, who loves his subjects as his own family, requests that you come to our aid. Please, will you return with us to help heal the kingdom?" Mahatma Buddha, known for his boundless compassion and unwavering commitment to the welfare of all living beings, listened carefully. His heart was always filled with a single desire, that no one should suffer, that all living creatures on earth should be healthy and happy. In his mind, there was no room for deceit or sorrow, only peace and the hope that everyone could live a joyful life. Smiling with his characteristic serenity, Buddha looked at the ministers and said, "Why don't we go at once? There is no time to waste when people are suffering." Without delay, Mahatma Buddha agreed to accompany the ministers back to the kingdom. His disciples, who always followed him closely, joined the journey. Together, they made their way toward the kingdom where the people awaited his arrival with great hope. As soon as they entered the kingdom, word spread quickly that the great Mahatma Buddha had arrived to address the mysterious illness that had plagued the people. There was a palpable sense of relief in the air, as the people believed their suffering would soon come to an end. Upon reaching the royal court, the king welcomed Mahatma Buddha with great reverence and respect. He had been eagerly awaiting Buddha's arrival, convinced that only the wise sage could solve the crisis that had fallen upon his kingdom. Bowing deeply, the king greeted Buddha and said, "Lord, you are most welcome in our land. I cannot express how much we need your guidance at this moment. Our people have always lived in peace and joy, but now a great calamity has struck. A strange illness has afflicted them, and it brings me great sorrow to see my people suffer in such a way. They are not just my subjects, they are my family. Their pain is my pain. Please, Lord, help us. Solve this problem and restore happiness to our kingdom." Mahatma Buddha, listening intently to the king's heartfelt plea, smiled gently. His calm demeanor seemed to lighten the weight of the king's words. "Why not?" Buddha said with a reassuring tone. "This is nothing. Everything will be fine. But you must understand one thing. The people have brought this upon themselves. Their lifestyle and habits are the root cause of their suffering. Once they correct these things, the problems will disappear." The king, slightly taken aback by Buddha's calm response, hesitated for a moment. "Guru," he said, "this problem is so great, and yet you call it nothing. It is difficult for me to understand how such a serious issue can be so easily resolved. Nevertheless, I trust your wisdom. Please do whatever is necessary to heal our people. I leave it entirely in your hands." At this point, one of Mahatma Buddha's disciples stepped forward. Buddha, with a simple gesture, had signaled for him to speak. The disciple addressed the king respectfully, saying, "O Raja, in order to begin the process of healing your people, we will need a large, open space in your kingdom. It must be a place with fresh air, natural sunlight, and a peaceful atmosphere. This environment will help restore balance to their bodies and minds. Tomorrow, at 4 a.m., we will begin the healing process. But before we start, you must issue a decree that all the inhabitants of the kingdom, only then can we begin the work of addressing the illness that has spread across your land." The king, eager to see his people healed and trusting in Buddha's wisdom, immediately agreed. "Of course," he said, "we will prepare such a place for you, and I will make sure that everyone, including myself, is present at the appointed time." He then ordered his ministers to find the ideal location, a wide and open area where everyone could gather under the morning sun, surrounded by nature. The ministers worked swiftly, setting up the necessary arrangements for the following day. As the sun began to set, word spread throughout the kingdom about Mahatma Buddha's plan. People, filled with hope, prepared to gather at the designated place, believing that their long period of suffering would soon come to an end. The next morning, before dawn, the people of the kingdom, men, women, children, and even the elderly, began making their way to the open space that had been prepared. There was a sense of anticipation in the air as they gathered under the stars, awaiting the arrival of Mahatma Buddha and his disciples. As promised, at exactly 4 a.m., Buddha and his disciples arrived. The king, along with his family and ministers, joined the people in the gathering. The atmosphere was filled with calm and reverence as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon. Mahatma Buddha, standing before the assembly, began his sermon. He spoke about the importance of living in harmony with nature, practicing mindfulness, and maintaining balance in all aspects of life. He explained that the illnesses they were facing were the result of their disconnection from these principles. By adopting a healthier lifestyle, incorporating natural elements into their daily routines, and living with awareness and moderation, they could restore their health and prevent future suffering. As the people listened, they felt a deep sense of understanding and connection to Buddha's teachings. His words were not just a solution to their physical ailments, but a guide to living a life of peace, balance, and joy. The king, who had initially been so troubled, now felt a profound sense of relief. He realized that the answer to the kingdom's problems was not found in medicines or quick fixes, but in the wisdom of Mahatma Buddha's teachings. Over the following days, the people began to implement the changes Buddha had suggested. They spent more time in nature, ate simpler, healthier foods, and practiced mindfulness in their daily lives. Slowly but surely, the symptoms of the mysterious illness began to fade. The youth who had once appeared prematurely aged started to regain their vitality, and the entire kingdom experienced a renewal of health and happiness. In the end, the kingdom was not only healed of its physical ailments, but also transformed by the wisdom and compassion of Mahatma Buddha. The king, forever grateful, promised to uphold the teachings of the great sage and ensure that his people continued to live in harmony with nature and themselves. Buddha's visit had not only cured an illness, it had planted the seeds of a new way of life, one that would bring lasting peace and joy to the kingdom for generations to come. The beginning of Mahatma Buddha's healing teachings. Mahatma Buddha, after being welcomed warmly by the king and his court, began laying out the path to healing the kingdom. He instructed that his teachings would continue for 12 days, and during this period, all the people of the kingdom would regain their health. The king, filled with relief and gratitude, said, "All right. Any expenses that are needed for this process will be covered by the royal treasury." However, the disciple of Buddha smiled and replied, "There will be no need for expenses, Maharaj. You can rest assured. All that is required is for you to give a strict order that if any of your subjects do not arrive by 4 a.m. for the sermons, they will face punishment." The king, understanding the importance of Buddha's teachings and eager to restore his people's health, immediately implemented this order. "Everyone must be present tomorrow morning," the king announced. He chose a suitable, open place for the gathering and sent out messengers to inform all the subjects. "Tomorrow, all the people must come to this place at 4 a.m. sharp. We will also attend and listen to the wise words of Mahatma Buddha. We will ensure that everything he instructs is followed, and our spies will keep watch over the houses to ensure no one is left behind. Anyone who fails to comply will be punished during the next assembly." The people, deeply respectful of their king and trusting in Mahatma Buddha's wisdom, greeted the king's decree with solemnity. "We will all be present, Maharaj," they promised. They then turned to Mahatma Buddha and offered their gratitude before departing for the day. The meeting was adjourned, and everyone eagerly awaited the first sermon to be delivered the next morning. The entire kingdom was buzzing with anticipation, believing that Mahatma Buddha's guidance would end their mysterious suffering. The first sermon, a simple but profound instruction. The next morning, at exactly 4 a.m., a large crowd gathered at the designated open space, eager to listen to the first sermon of Mahatma Buddha. The king, along with his family and ministers, also attended, as per his promise. As dawn broke, Mahatma Buddha stood before the assembly and silently signaled to his disciple to address the gathering. The disciple stood up and began to speak, his voice clear and calm. "From tomorrow morning," the disciple said, "all the people of this kingdom must start their day by drinking 2 to 3 glasses of warm water. This must be done at 4 a.m., immediately after waking up. The water should be sipped slowly, from an earthen pot, which helps to maintain its purity and balance. This is the first step to restoring your health. Those who do not follow this instruction will not find relief from their ailments." The crowd listened attentively, understanding the importance of such a simple yet vital act. "This is Mahatma Buddha's first teaching," the disciple continued. "It must be followed by everyone without exception. Tomorrow, we will gather again to receive the second teaching. The process will continue for the next 12 days, and by the end, your health will be restored." With this simple instruction, the first sermon concluded. The people dispersed with a renewed sense of hope, committed to following Buddha's guidance. The king, too, was impressed by the simplicity of the solution, and resolved to follow the teachings himself, just as he had commanded his subjects to do. The following day, the people arrived punctually at 4 a.m. for the second sermon. Mahatma Buddha, standing before the gathering once again, smiled as he saw the dedication in the eyes of his audience. He asked one of the people from the crowd, "Tell me, how many of you followed yesterday's instruction?" To his satisfaction, everyone raised their hands in unison, affirming that they had indeed followed the simple yet profound practice of drinking warm water. The kingdom, united in their efforts to regain their health, was on the path to recovery under Mahatma Buddha's wise and compassionate leadership. Mahatma Buddha's holistic teachings, the path to complete healing. On the second day of Mahatma Buddha's sermon, after the people had followed the first instruction of drinking warm water, they reported significant relief. Their bodies felt light, their stomachs cleansed, and they looked visibly healthier. Pleased with the progress, Mahatma Buddha shared the next instruction. He directed that everyone must incorporate a daily walk into their routine. For children and young people, he suggested running for 2 to 3 kilometers, while older individuals aged 40 to 50 were encouraged to briskly walk, taking 1 step per second, roughly 60 steps per minute. If the elderly felt able, they too could run, but no more than 2 to 3 kilometers, and at their own pace. As the second day of teachings concluded, Buddha reconvened the next day to check on their progress. Again, everyone present affirmed that they had followed the instructions. The disciple asked, "How do you feel now?" And the people responded, "Guru, we feel no illness. It seems as though we have been completely restored to health." Satisfied, Mahatma Buddha and his disciple introduced the third step of the journey, yoga and pranayama, breathing exercises. The disciple explained in detail how to practice pranayama, including Anulam Vilam and Surya Pranayama. These exercises, he said, should be done for 30 to 45 minutes daily to strengthen both mind and body. The meeting ended with a sense of optimism, as the people felt healthier with each passing day, and they gathered again for the following day's teachings. The role of diet in healing, Mahatma Buddha's dietary guidelines. The next day, after asking if everyone had followed the yoga and breathing instructions, Mahatma Buddha's disciple shared the next important teaching, this time focusing on diet. From tomorrow, he said, everyone must eat 300 grams of sev, a traditional dish. You may eat more if you like, but not less. He further explained that after consuming this meal, people could carry on with their usual tasks. At the next gathering, the disciple again asked how everyone was feeling. The people were unanimous in their response. We feel fully recovered. Our bodies are energetic, and we no longer feel the burden of illness. The king, hearing this, was overjoyed that his subjects were healing without the need for expensive medicines. His heart filled with gratitude, he requested Mahatma Buddha to stay in their kingdom permanently. However, with his signature smile, Buddha gently reminded them that he was always joyful and had no attachments, implying that he would continue to travel and preach elsewhere. The next day, the disciple shared another crucial part of the healing process, the importance of a balanced and wholesome diet. He instructed that after eating sev early in the morning, everyone should consume a multigrain bread, roti, 2 hours later. However, this bread should not contain wheat, as the disciple mentioned it was not ideal for health. Instead, the bread should be made from millet, corn, and chickpeas. Alongside the bread, each person's plate should include a bowl of lentils, homemade ghee, and seasonal mixed vegetables. He emphasized the importance of seasonal vegetables, as they were fresher and healthier, while off-season vegetables should be stored for future use. Finally, he shared a valuable dietary tip. After finishing a meal, everyone should consume a bowl of yogurt, followed by a small amount of jaggery mixed with it 30 minutes later. This combination would aid digestion and enhance overall health. The disciple concluded the day's sermon by stressing that if these instructions were followed, the people would continue to feel better each day, and their health would remain in peak condition. The following day, as everyone gathered once again, the people eagerly shared their progress. Lord, they said, we are completely healed. We feel no illness at all. The king, seeing the miraculous transformation in his kingdom, expressed his deepest gratitude to Mahatma Buddha. Buddha's teachings had not only restored the health of the people, but also brought peace and joy back to their lives. Continued healing, the power of diet and lifestyle. As the people gathered once more to share their experiences, it was clear that the transformations were remarkable. It doesn't seem like we were ever sick, they exclaimed, their faces glowing with health and vitality. The king, overflowing with joy, remarked on how everyone had healed so wonderfully, crediting the dietary changes Buddha had prescribed. He marveled at how, through their own disciplined efforts and by following Mahatma Buddha's teachings, they had gradually regained their health and well-being. Observing their renewed vigor, the disciple felt it was important to continue imparting further wisdom on maintaining this newfound vitality. The disciple shared essential guidelines for proper eating habits, emphasizing that people should avoid eating and drinking simultaneously. He explained that if they faced difficulties swallowing food, they could take small sips of water, but large amounts should be avoided during meals. Instead, they could drink as much water as they wanted, but only 1 hour after eating. The disciple then anticipated that, having eaten by 10 or 11 in the morning, hunger would strike again by 4 or 5 in the afternoon. At this time, everyone was instructed to consume a plate of salad, with the amount tailored to their weight. For instance, someone weighing 50 kilograms should eat a specific amount, while someone weighing 60 kilograms should have 300 grams and so forth. The salad needed to include carrots, beets, radishes, tomatoes, and a piece of ginger, with 3 or 4 cloves of garlic for flavor. Optional additions could include black salt or roasted cumin to enhance the taste. He insisted that nothing else should be eaten before consuming the salad, emphasizing the importance of following these guidelines closely. As the meeting concluded, everyone left eager to incorporate the new instructions into their daily routines. The following day, when the townsfolk gathered at 4 p.m., they radiated health and happiness. Their faces shone with a vibrancy that seemed to defy age, creating an atmosphere filled with joy and hope. When asked how they felt, the people responded with beaming smiles and energetic voices, expressing their gratitude for the changes they had made. "We feel revitalized, as if our declining age has come to an end," they said, their spirits high. The king, witnessing the miraculous transformations in his subjects, was overwhelmed with gratitude and reverence. He knelt before Mahatma Buddha, saying, "Blessed be you, Lord. You have healed everyone with nothing but food." A lesson in patience and discipline. However, the disciple interrupted, gently reminding the king, "Maharaj, wait, there is still much more to teach." Recognizing the importance of patience and the need for further guidance, the king listened attentively. Mahatma Buddha had a wealth of knowledge to share, and the disciple continued with additional vital teachings that would solidify the community's health and well-being. These teachings were not merely about physical health. They were also about cultivating a holistic lifestyle. The disciple explained that in addition to their meals, maintaining a disciplined routine was crucial. This included regular meal times, ensuring that they engaged in physical activities such as walking or yoga, and practicing mindfulness. He stressed the significance of eating fresh and seasonal produce while minimizing processed foods. Furthermore, he emphasized the importance of emotional health and mental well-being, encouraging the people to engage in practices such as meditation and self-reflection. By nurturing both the body and mind, they would not only enhance their physical health, but also cultivate a sense of inner peace and happiness that would further enrich their lives. As the crowd listened with rapt attention, the king's heart swelled with gratitude for the wisdom being shared. He understood that this journey was not just about healing the body, but also about transforming the way they lived. With each lesson imparted by Mahatma Buddha and his disciple, the people grew more aware of the connection between their choices, their health, and their overall happiness. They realized that by following these teachings, they could create a life filled with vitality, joy, and harmony. As the sun set, the king promised that he would ensure everyone continued to follow these teachings and share the knowledge with those who were not present. The path to health and happiness, as illuminated by Mahatma Buddha's wisdom, would become the foundation of their community, fostering a culture of well-being that would thrive for generations to come. Embracing a life of health and happiness. Mahatma Buddha continued his teachings, sharing that a life devoid of disease and the burdens of aging was within reach for the people of the kingdom. The king, filled with eagerness and curiosity, urged the guru to reveal all that was necessary for sustaining such a vibrant life. "I feel rejuvenated, as if I have returned to the age of 16, he declared, embodying the hope that Mahatma Buddha inspired. The Buddha began by advising everyone on the importance of their evening routine. "Every night you must have dinner before sunset," he instructed, explaining that as sunlight diminishes, so too does the body's ability to digest food effectively. When the sun is high, digestion is aided, but when it sets, our bodies slow down. This is why the ancient sages, such as Asim Muni, ate an hour before sunset. By doing this, your food can begin to digest while you are still awake, ensuring that by the time you sleep, digestion is nearly complete. He elaborated on the benefits of early dinners. Eating early not only allows for proper digestion, but also promotes restful sleep. If you dine late, you risk an incomplete digestive process, which can disrupt your sleep and adversely affect your health. Therefore, I urge you all, eat dinner an hour before sunset, choosing light, nourishing foods such as multigrain roti and seasonal vegetables, only as much as is necessary to satisfy your hunger. After the meal, he encouraged everyone to drink a glass of warm milk mixed with 3 grams of turmeric, stressing that the turmeric should be homemade, not store-bought. This simple drink will aid in digestion and enhance your overall well-being, he said. The importance of restful sleep. Mahatma Buddha emphasized the importance of sleep in their regimen. After dinner, do nothing but prepare for sleep. Go to bed before 10 p.m. When you sleep at this time, you allow your body to fully digest the food you've consumed. You will awaken naturally around 4:25 a.m., feeling refreshed and revitalized. This routine would help them avoid stress and illness. In essence, everyone must live in the present moment. Embrace life as a small child does. A child does not worry about disputes between parents or concerns about food scarcity. They eat what they have and return to play. In this way, you too must focus on the present, shedding the weight of past regrets and future anxieties. The Buddha's message resonated deeply with the crowd. Be content with what you have. Do not dwell on what was or what may come. Instead, find joy in the now, he continued, his voice calm and reassuring. A new way of living. His words sparked a shift in perspective among the people. They began to understand that true happiness and health stemmed not from external circumstances, but from their mindset and daily habits. This holistic approach to life, focusing on present moment awareness and mindful eating, promised not just a remedy for ailments, but a pathway to joy. The king listened intently, his heart swelling with gratitude for the guidance Mahatma Buddha provided. Inspired by the teachings, he vowed to implement them not only for himself but for the entire kingdom. I will ensure that everyone understands these principles and incorporates them into their lives, he declared. Together, we will create a society that flourishes in health and happiness. The gathering concluded with a sense of renewed hope and commitment to these life-altering practices.